A few weeks after Lion Air Flight 610 crashed off the coast of Indonesia in the Java Sea, fingers are now being pointed at the company, Boeing, that manufactured the aircraft. Lion Air and a U.S. pilots group allege that Boeing withheld information about the new 737 MAX, a new plane that was inducted into the fleet in the month of August this year. It's alleged that Boeing did not tell the pilots about a new safety feature. The manual that comes with the new Boeing aircraft allegedly did not mention that when the plane's computer detects a stall, it automatically triggers a response like lowering the nose of the airplane. Now, the operational director of Lion Air has issued this statement, and I quote, "We don't have that in the manual of the Boeing 737 MAX 8. That's why we don't have the special training for that specific situation." Reports say that investigators are now looking into these claims. They will check if a sensor did indeed transmit incorrect data to trigger the stall prevention system of this aircraft. Boeing says that all the information that's required to fly the new plane was given and that the 737 is a very safe plane to fly. And we are running a Twitter poll on this very subject, so log on to Twitter, make sure you answer the question, yes or no, is Boeing to blame for the deaths of 189 people, Lion Air crash, pilots claim Boeing withheld info on flaw, yes or no? And we will announce the results tomorrow at 7 p.m. India time. And at that point, we will also announce the results of our Twitter poll yesterday, where we'd asked viewers to participate in an online snap poll. We'd asked if flyers should rate pilots to check drunken and errant behavior. The results of that 24-hour poll are out, and 73% of viewers have agreed with a system to rate pilots, while 27% are not in favor of such a step. We thank all of you who logged on and answered our poll. Continue logging on to Wion's Twitter handle and answering poll questions. We will announce the results of today's poll tomorrow. Those are the results for the poll that we ran yesterday. Drunk or depressed, they put your life at risk. Will flyer ratings help check errant pilots? And the answer to that question is 73% yes and 27% no. Now, away from that and on to the other big story that we're tracking. After a month on the road, the first batch of Central American migrants have arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border. A group of 340 migrants arrived in the city of Tijuana in Mexico, the closest to the United States border. Large groups of migrants gathered on the beach in the city of Tijuana at the border fence that separates Mexico from California, climbing on top of it and even jumping down to the other side, but they quickly scrambled back to the Mexican side. 8 migrants who crossed into the U.S. were promptly arrested by Border Patrol officers.
Donald Trump está preparando sus marines por toda la frontera, eso no importa. Este muro puede ser grande, pero como cuando Israel hizo alrededor al muro de Jericó, estos muros pueden ser grandes, pero si Dios está con nosotros y confiamos en Él, Él nos va a ayudar a vencer este obstáculo.
The group of migrants waited in line to enter a shelter in Tijuana city, where many intended to rest until the remainder of their caravans arrived. In the past few days, up to 1,000 migrants linked to the caravans have arrived in Tijuana, with a similar number expected to arrive in the next day or so. Thousands more could arrive in the border towns over the coming days.
Que vengan todos y lo que dicen ellos es que van a ver qué solución le hayan en este caso, y ya estando en la mera puerta ellos, ¿me entiendes? Y algunos vienen con ideas de que algún familiar los va a pasar con coyote, o otros van a pelear asilo. Y bueno, yo en este caso tengo familias allá, me dijeron que me iban a ayudar, pero vamos a ver allá al final qué va a suceder. Eso esperamos, a ver que todo salga bien.
This group of migrants camped in the city despite the stand taken by America on troops and the use of force to keep this caravan out. Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis just justified the troop deployment at the U.S.-Mexico border and said that everything within their power will be done to block the entry of these migrants.
I would anticipate with what we've been asked to do so far, probably within a week to 10 days, we'll have done what's needed. Now, of course, it's a dynamic situation. There'll be new requests coming in. But we can move the troops back and forth. Right now, because we're just putting in the obstacles, I'm 100% confident we have the number of troops in each of those ports of entry to complete what we've been asked to do prior to the arrival of the large caravans.
Meanwhile, another group of South Americans drove into the state of Sinaloa along the Gulf of California. Buses carrying about 2,000 migrants arrived in the area. Migrants were seen pushing and shoving each other as they competed for seats on the bus. Migrants traveling with children said that they've been enduring long walks with little to eat and drink and were grateful to be transported by this bus to their next destination. Away from that, and let's shift focus to a story here in India. Diners in the city of Bengaluru can now experience the high of dining 160 feet in the air. That's right, in the middle of the air. The first of its kind restaurant suspends the table mid-air to let diners enjoy their food with a bit of adventure. Wion's Nishchita Virendra brings us this report from India's IT city. Take a look.
This meal is not for the faint-hearted. A suspended table, harnessed with 16 metal ropes, 160 feet in the air. A concept that has existed in nearly 64 countries has now arrived in India.
As you know that we do take this table 160 feet above from the ground, and we do rotate 360 degree, which is something beyond freedom-free experiences.
Once seated and strapped, 22 diners engage in a culinary adventure of a lifetime, combined with a breathtaking view of the Nagawara Lake and Bengaluru city. With no wall or side rails, the experience for a diner is that of being suspended in mid-air. The table rotates 360 degrees throughout the 1-hour experience.
It was wonderful. I have been to a lot of restaurants in the country, but this view was like amazing.
It's awesome. Food is awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
And the view?
Very, very beautiful.
The guests are required to wear seat belts, while staff is equipped with safety harnesses. The planning, guidelines for executions, calculations and simulations have been approved by the TÜV Rheinland in Germany. The table and equipment have also been procured from the European country.
In case any emergency comes, we have rescue mechanism. We have wind velocity mechanism where we get the wind velocity observation. If the wind is too high, we stop or take down this table immediately down. Within 2 minutes, we take people down.
After being launched last month, Fly Dining now hopes to set up this unique experience in all major cities of India.
Well, it's not just eating, it is an experience. Diners in Bengaluru are living the high life quite literally as they dine while being suspended 160 feet in the air. While enjoying delicious food and drinks, they also have the breathtaking view of Bengaluru city and the beautiful Nagawara Lake. So the next time you want to combine eating with adventure, you know where to head to. In Bengaluru with Vijay Chandan, Nishchita Virendra, Wion, World is One.